Welcome back, Shalloners. Today, we are going to talk about an American treasure, a national treasure, Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson. We're going to talk about Kelly Clarkson's split from her husband, Brandon Blackstock. We're going to talk about why Kelly Clarkson is such a treasure. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what we can get from this. Namely, how to start over when you've been cheated on or a relationship that you thought was forever, or at least for a little while, goes belly up. Because I'm embarking on new chapters myself and we're all going to figure this out together. But before we get started, just want to remind you, if you have a love question of your own, find me on my website, shallonlester.com. If you would like a video shout out or a birthday pep talk, something like that, find me on Cameo, and be sure to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO. I let you guys vote on this video topic. You always suggest the best topics. All right, let's talk about Kelly. Well, first let's talk about where I am. I'm traveling for the weekend. I'm in Montana because I live here now, and I'm in a hotel, and it is what it is. It's like the color. It's like brown and celery green. Cool. This whole state is like brown and green. All everyone wears are brown and green. So much hunting camo. So many pictures holding a fish on Tinder. And the fish are also brown and green. They've got an aesthetic and they're sticking with it. But I'll be back to my usual backdrop soon. And yes, a video is coming on why I decided to move to Montana. And I kind of want to like give it away now, but because this video is going to be about how to start that new chapter in your life. But let's break down what's happening with Kelly. Are people out in the hall hollering? So Kelly and Brandon Blackstock. Okay. Kelly Clarkson, obviously the first winner of American Idol. I love her. I've interviewed her multiple times. I've seen her doing like just private little corporate shows multiple times. She is so cool in real life. She is so real. She's so down to earth. She's self-deprecating. She's warm. She's funny. She's just like a cool chick. She's just a cool chick. And like, you just want the best for her. She's just this ball of sunshine. And I remember when I saw that she got married, I was like, oh, yes, she deserves that. And he's a cute dude. Well. Brandon Blackstock is a son of talent manager Narvel Blackstock. Narvel. And Narvel has been married or was married to Reba McEntire, another national treasure. And these poor women, Reba and Kelly, got mixed up with two douchebags. Narvel done cheated on Reba. How could you? First of all, that poor woman had to scream the name Narvel during sex for like 38 years. Someone give her a Congressional Medal of Honor. Then he cheats on her and they break up and she's got a new boyfriend now. But we were writing about it a lot at Star and how Kelly was really a support system for Reba while this was happening, like her sort of like ex-mother-in-law. And one thing that we didn't report on as much as we could have is how much Narvel Blackstock cheated on Reba with prostitutes. And one thing we also didn't share is how much Brandon cheated on Kelly. Why hasn't this been out in the public? Well, this is kind of a thing about journalism and celebrity journalism. There are certain celebrities people do not want to read bad things about. There's some celebrities they only want to read bad things about. Angelina Jolie, fucking they hate her. But people don't want to read like Kate Middleton is unhappy or sick or they want to read happy things about Kate Middleton. They love her. Same with Kelly Clarkson. Like our polls was like nobody wanted to think that was what was going on in the marriage. So we really kept that private, but it has come up again and again and again and again from source after source after source. And really, how far does the apple fall from the tree? How far does the Brandon fall from the Narvel, right? They're both talent managers. And this has nothing to do with celebrity journalism. This just has to do with like people that I know who are talent managers. There's a God complex there. They consider themselves sort of these impresarios. They're the creators of this big, bright, shining star. And it's very difficult when your manager is also your husband. That's some Ike and Tina shit, That's some Jay and Beyonce stuff. And that makes for a very messy dynamic. And I feel so much for Kelly because I feel like her relationship was very similar to one that I had. Someone I was dating who was very much involved in my career. He gave me the confidence to sort of reframe my career at one point. He understood the industry I was in, and he also cheated on me. And he also cheated on me like fucking crazy. And I'm like, it was so hard to leave or to see that that's what was going on, because if I were to leave him, so much would go with him. Not just love, not just companionship, not just this is my best friend, not just what's the vision of my future. There was an aspect of my career too. And I think on some level, these dudes know that. These dudes know that. Do you think it was realistic Beyonce was going to leave Jay? Of course not. Of course not. We talked before in videos how she's not ultra sharp. I mean, she's got like a 6th grade education, for God's sakes. Like, she's really is very reliant on him. Same how Tina Turner was with Ike Turner. And a lot of people get like that. And it's hard to not mix business and pleasure, because that industry, the industry I do, it's isolating. It's lonely. You can't just go on Tinder. Well, I can. I do all the time. But like Kelly Clarkson probably can't, you know? Beyonce can't. So you stay where you're at. You stay where you're at. Look at Kim and Kanye. What a mess he is. But he like gets her vision and wants to level her up and blah, blah, blah. She starts to date some like oil banker. He's gonna be like, I don't know, post whatever fucking pic you want. I don't know. You know? So I think there was an element of control there. So then Us Weekly was breaking down what precipitated this breakup. They're like, oh, there were signs. Oh, and the first thing was that she put 2 of her properties on the market. That was always such a red flag. Us Weekly is owned by the same company as Star, and we were all like in the same office, and it was so fun to like swap gossip and stuff. But yeah, like I remember it was my old editor-in-chief who was like, whenever you see a celebrity list a house, and if they're married, you keep your eyes on them. You keep your eyes on them, because that's a big red flag. Also, renewing your vows. Kiss of death. Kiss of death. So she listed the property. She was complaining about how difficult it is to be a working mom. Like, I'm sure. She was also complaining a lot about being home in quarantine, when she was saying things like, I'm cooking every meal, I'm cleaning everything all the time. And I was like, well, why isn't he? You know? And for her birthday recently, her big wish was to be left alone. She's like, I don't want to cook one more thing. I don't want to clean something. I don't want to talk to him. I just want to be by myself. And that's how a lot of moms feel, for sure. That's how a lot of non-moms feel. It's like, I need to be where others are not. You know, I certainly feel like that after a long day of, well, abject selfishness. But the subtext there was, I'm not getting any help here. You know, and Kelly and Brandon have 2 kids. They have River and Remington. I love the name River. It's so pretty. And I love Remingtons because I like guns. And then he has 2 older kids from his previous marriage, and they're tweens or teens. So it was a full busy house. And Kelly was a very hands-on stepmom, like teaching everyone the lessons. And it's like, well, what was Brandon doing? You know, Kelly is not just a mom. Not that you're just a mom, but you know, she's got her whole career, so many facets. So, and then there was the debate about kids. Apparently she wanted more. He said, no, we have enough. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, Kel, it's like you're overwhelmed with the kids you do have, so you want more kids? She's like, they're so cute when they're babies. Like, well, yeah, but they grow up and then they start talking and then they tell you a 7-minute story about how they saw a truck. And you're just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So there has been some signs. And like I said, the sign that they're not telling us is the infidelity. I've been there. You've probably been there. The worst part about being cheated on is just how embarrassed you feel. You are just humiliated. And it's weird because when you're humiliated in other times in your life, say you fall down a flight of stairs, I've done it many times, your dress goes up over your head, turns out there was toilet paper attached to your shoe anyway, great. You're humiliated and there's a reason and other people are embarrassed for you. So your humiliation is like justified, you know, it's like reasonable and it's acknowledged by others. When you get cheated on, your humiliation belongs to you and you alone. You need to realize that. No one else is like, oh, yikes. Like no one else is making fun of you like that. You are the only person who views this as embarrassing. And part of that is pain. It's fucking pain. It's like the Billie Eilish song, like the James Bond theme, like, was I stupid to love you? Was I reckless to care? Was it obvious to everybody else that I've fallen for a lie? And I remember I heard that song and it took me back to when I had been cheated on. And I was like, yes, like, was it obvious to everybody else? Was I just a fool? And now you've made the life I lead foolish as a result. I look stupid. I feel stupid. Those vacations I planned, when I asked you about your day, the guys I didn't have sex with because I was with you, I feel stupid. And it was my ex-husband, who's very wise. I remember he said to me one time, we were like talking about cheating. He's like, the pain of cheating is that you have been making decisions based on a reality that didn't actually exist. And he's like, it's fantasy. You've been make-believing, and you've been wasting your time and your emotion. And that's, I think, really crucial to understanding why we feel so embarrassed. It's like, I have been make-believing and not even knowing it in my own life. In my own life. I believe another aspect of our embarrassment when we get cheated on is our intuition was like, I fucking told you so. I told you so, bitch. It's one thing to be mad at someone else. It is agony to be mad at yourself. You can resent other people. Resent the fuck out of that dude. I don't care. Don't resent yourself. But that's the natural outcome when you didn't listen to your intuition, when you didn't log those red flags as crucial data points, when you did give someone the benefit of the doubt, or you told yourself this fear-based story about why you had to hold on to this dude. I can't start over. We've got kids together. Who's going to love me now? He's the only person who understands me and my career. Again, who's telling those stories to you? 9 times out of 10, you are. It's probably not your mom or your friends or people on social media. They don't feel that way about your situation. Only you feel that way about your situation. And so we get entrenched in it. And again, that doubles down on this aspect of it being a fantasy land for good and bad. It's a fantasy, this relationship that I've been in, because only I've been in it. I remember like when I got cheated on, we'd been together over a year, and I was like, actually, I've been single for the last 6 months. I just didn't know it yet. And that it was like, I was living in this fantasy. But on the flip side, I was also living in a fantasy because I was telling myself these insane stories to overlook behavior that was clearly problematic. Writing that was very much on the wall. And I was like, I don't see it. Bird box. And so that was an added layer of the humiliation. I was humiliated at myself. Humiliated at how naive I'd been, that I had fallen for this crazy narrative in my mind that I needed to hang on to this man at all costs. I cannot log these data points. I cannot lose him. I will never recover from this if I do. Personally, professionally, socially, whatever. So you gotta let go of that. And if it's helpful, I mean, it will be helpful. Everything I say is helpful. Write down this doomsday scenario that you've been laboring under. I can't lose him because I will never find someone who understands my career and my heart the way he does. Never. Okay, is that realistic? And for some of you, it's like, yes, that's realistic. Okay, let's figure out how we can outsource that. Fine. And when we broke up, my friends were like, we will literally help you hire people to do what he does for your career, so that you don't have to keep thinking you need to get back together with him. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because whatever you think he's giving to you, you don't catalog what he's taking. It's terrible. So you got to let go of that embarrassment. That's step number 1. Once you free yourself from this extra narrative of humiliation, you can start to heal. My therapist says all the time, and I've talked about this, to put distance between the thinker and the thought and not apply a secondary characteristic to your emotions. We can feel the pain. It's grief. It's mourning. It's awful. The thing that you loved is dead. It's not there anymore. It's torturous. But what pain and suffering are different. Pain is I've lost somebody. Suffering is I am so stupid. Everyone is laughing at me. I am never going to find love again. Again, who's coming up with that story? You are. The good news is you can stop saying that story. You can stop telling that story. And my therapist is big on tell that story, but about your best friend. If your best friend is in a bad relationship, tell her, what would you say to her? Would you say, oh, you got to stick with that guy, even though he's married. You will never do better. I was like, no, I would never say that to her. He's like, why do you say a story like that to yourself though? Your friends wouldn't say that to you. Your parents wouldn't say that to you. Social media wouldn't say, well, they say horrible things, but why are you your own co-conspirator here? For what? And then we have to get to the for what. What is under there? It's fear. So we're going to try to let go of that. We're also going to let go of closure. Ooh. Closure does not exist. Closure is a myth. And closure is a thing we give to ourselves. If the person who hurt us so bad that we need closure was communicative and mature and in touch and self-aware enough to actually give us that closure, we wouldn't need it in the first place, right? We wouldn't have been ghosted. We wouldn't have been cheated on. We wouldn't have been lied to and put in a booty call category, whatever. We can't find healing in the same place we got hurt. Closure is something we have to give to ourselves, and we get it by growth and learning. We get it through those emotional autopsies, and I hate autopsies. We've talked about emotional autopsies before. Just like a real autopsy, they're gross, they're nauseating, but they give you information that you can use to move forward, right? Okay, this is how this person died. We're going to pass this on to the next person so they don't die of this thing. And in relationships, it's like, this is why my relationship died. This was the mortal wound. This is the story I was telling myself to stay there. This is the big red flag I probably should have realized. And if you can catalog that, if you can do your, medical examiner's report over this dead relationship, you can learn from it. And that is going to shut your intuition up. That is going to shut up that voice like, I told you so, why didn't you listen to me? You won't have to hear that anymore because you're going to be like, I am listening. I'm listening now. The psyche must be heard. She will do it the easy way. She will do it the hard way. So let's try the easy way. Because if we're here, if we've been cheated on, if we're starting over a whole new chapter of our life, we have done it the hard way and it sucks. So let's try, just as an experiment, let's try to do things the easy way and just listen to what she's trying to tell us and do that autopsy and fucking look. Look at what you're afraid of. Look at what's driving you to stay in these relationships. Look at what is normalizing chaos. I don't care how out of left field it is. There are always signs. There's always signs that a guy is cheating or he's straying or something. But sometimes we simply don't know what to look for. And I can do a video on how to spot a cheater. I think I did with Tristan and Chloe. Some things are very subtle and it's hard because they're not absolute. You can have these red flags in actually healthy relationships and they're not red flags, but you can have like one thing. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. So we've let go of embarrassment. We've let go of closure. And now we're going to start embracing things. We're embracing the suck. We're embracing the suck. The suck of him. We're embracing the suckiness of this dude. I want you to make a list. And this is going to feel gross and creepy too because I've done it and I know it's going to give you the douche chills, like full body, like full body, like ick for yourself. I want you to make a list of all the things that made you cringe about this guy. Maybe it was his weird Grateful Dead tattoo. I dated a dude. Awful. Maybe it was that he clapped when the plane landed, or he watched Big Bang Theory. A lot of just things that you're like, they weren't red flags into his character. Well, clapping when a plane lands is, but they were just things that made your skin crawl. And there were things you didn't want to tell your friends. You're like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I want you to write that shit down. Bullet points. Because that's going to help you get out of that fantasy spiral of I'm never going to do better. You think you can't find a man who talks back to the movies? Like, you go, girl. You don't need that. You don't need it. You don't need it in your life. You're going to embrace the suck of him. You're also going to embrace the suck of the things he was doing that were holding you back. Every relationship in some way holds us back. And sometimes it holds us back from bad things. It holds us back from going out and partying too much, and that's not bad. That's probably healthy. But sometimes it holds us back, not sometimes, all the time, simply from making our own autonomous decisions. That is what compromise is. The definition of compromise is neither person gets what they want. Do you know that? That's the truth. And so when people are like, oh, we compromise, I was like, well, you're both unhappy, so great. But that's partnership. That's partnership. I am not good at compromise. I'm an only child. I've been single for so long and just on my own, living my own life, that it's very, very hard for me to allow someone else in. And I remember one of my friends was like, you date guys who seem so strong at first and really they are just puppy dogs. They just, and not in a good way. She's like, this is not a compliment. They just adapt into your life. They have no friends of their own. They have no life. They have no nothing. And that means you get to be the head bitch in charge all the time. You get to make all the decisions. And that's why you date chaotic people. It's the Kourtney Kardashian, Scott Disick thing. No matter how messy she would be, he's always going to be worse. So therefore, she always has the power, right? So that's why she stays in that dynamic. It's a power situation. It's crazy. But there's things that this dude, whoever has fueled you to watch this video, has been holding you back from. And maybe that thing is as simple as peace. Maybe he has been holding you back from peace. One of my friends dated. She was in a situationship with this awful guy. He had the teeth of a homeless Ukrainian person. Just horrifying, like Eastern Bloc mouth. He grew up in like Connecticut. I was like, how did your teeth look like they're made of wood? And I'm not here to shit on people's teeth. I know dental work is expensive, but if you're a white college educated male in America, you shouldn't look like George Washington right here. You just shouldn't do that. And I believe he was also married. She didn't know though. He always kept her very off kilter. She wasn't allowed at his apartment. He was like weirdly just awful. And she became awful to be around, kind of. I mean, she was so, we couldn't see it until after they broke up. He literally ghosted her. He just stopped talking to her one day. Nightmare. But it's like this fog of anxiety lifted around her and she became her old self. She was cool. She was chill. She was fun. She didn't have this need to prove. She wasn't interrupting people in conversations. It was like we got our friend back. And I said to her, I was like, I don't think any of us realized what he was doing to you until we removed that cancer, until we cut that out. And now you're back, you're whole. And she's like, you're right. I had so much low grade anxiety all the time. She had like stomach problems. Like it affected her inside and out. And that is how a lot of us have been living. A lot of us. And we think, well, I don't want to be single. It's scary. You are scared. I don't want to be alone. You are alone. You just don't know it. When I said I've been single for 6 months, I didn't know it. Same thing. I was alone. I already was scared. I was anxious. I already wasn't sure about the future, but I didn't allow myself to listen to that. No. The devil I know is better than the devil I don't. Being in a not great relationship is better than being completely single and having no relationship at all. The fuck kind of logic is that? What kind of logic was that? What is that? That, I suppose, is true if you need a relationship in order to like survive the winter, which in Montana gets really cold and I might. But we don't operate like that. You don't need anyone. You need you. You need peace, right? So if nothing else, that's what he was holding you back from. But maybe he was holding you back from bigger things. Having kids, taking that career in a different state, being close to your family, being far away from your family, traveling, eating sushi, listening to country music, even though he grew up in the country and should like it more than anyone. He doesn't, and we have to listen to West Coast rap all the time, and I literally can't take it. Maybe just hold you back from orgasms, girl. Think about it. But I want you to write that list down too. See, we're moving from the victim narrative, the pity narrative, which you are allowed. You embrace, you can wallow. When I got cheated on, I've been cheated on so many times. I would literally schedule in like wallow o'clock, cry o'clock, and I would lay there for like an hour and just listen to the same Sam Hunt song over and over and over again, just on repeat. And then I'd be like, all right, the alarm went off. We're getting back to it. We're going to put one foot in front of the other and just zombie out the door and go through the motions until they no longer feel like motions. They feel like our real life. And it's very important that you make this list of things he's holding you back from, because that is going to be your North Star moving forward. Whether it's now I have this emotional police sketch of who I do actually want in my life. What does it look like? What do I need? The things that I thought, oh, this isn't going to bother me, about my relationship, that he won't let me do this, or he doesn't like to do that and it's holding me back. Maybe they actually did bother you a lot and you just didn't realize, you didn't let yourself realize it, because to realize it would give you one more data point that you needed to get the fuck out of that relationship, right? But now is the time for data points. Now is the time for data gathering. And now is the time to make a proactive versus reactive emotional sketch of what you want out of your life. it's very easy to be reactive, you know? And I'm going to talk more about this in my video on why I moved to Montana, because at first it did. It felt very, very reactive. Like I'm dipping out. I can't take this. But I'm trying to be more proactive. And instead of just swinging wildly from one end of a spectrum, whether it's dating, where I live, what I do for a living, what I eat, what I wear, what I listen to, I'm trying to be more thoughtful. Be like, no, just because I lived in the city doesn't mean I need to live out in the country in Montana, but I did it anyway. So maybe I'm going to spend 6 months out here. Maybe I'm going to spend a year out here. And maybe I'm going to be like, okay, maybe Nashville's where I want to be. You know, maybe Santa Fe is where I want to be. Maybe someplace in the middle is where I want to be. Or maybe it is here. I don't know. But I'm giving myself the room to discover that. I'm giving myself the room to now log data points that heretofore I was unwilling to do, because to do that meant walking away from a relationship. But the worst has happened. The worst has already happened, right? And I'll talk more about this in the Montana video. My breakup did highly influence me making this decision, you know? And people are like, aren't you scared? You're going to go to a new state. You don't know anyone. I'm like, how much worse could it get? Like, how much fucking worse could it get? I lost someone who I loved deeply. What I held as a vision for my future is no longer there. So I go someplace and I don't like the town. I'll fucking leave. I'll leave. I'll just leave. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing else that people can do to you. What doesn't kill you, as Kelly Clarkson says, really does make you stronger. And it might not feel like that now. You're going to feel completely shot through, riddled with emotional holes for sure. So let's take the word stronger off the table. It might not make you stronger right now. And you don't have to have that as your goal, because that's another aspect. It's like, you're just going to bounce back. You're going to get back out there. And you're like, I can't. You can't even do your laundry. You know, it's like, I'm not like going and putting my mouth on a new person. Like, that's not happening. So let's take away stronger and let's just say smarter. What doesn't kill you makes you smarter. Just a little bit. Just in one category. It makes you braver. It makes you emboldened to do those emotional autopsies. It allows you to confront those statements and those narratives that you have been telling yourself, right? And to dismantle them. Because what have you got to lose, girl? What have you got to lose? Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. And you are free. And I love that phrase because it just shows that there's always two ways to look at something, right? You can look at this as the worst thing, your relationship collapsed, maybe you got cheated on, or you can look at this as a beautiful reset. Now, all those things you had like accepted in your relationship, you could find a relationship where you don't have to accept them. Or the things you will have to accept are small, like the Big Bang Theory. Just watch it. Don't involve me, but you can TiVo it. I don't care. Last but not least, I want you to do something out of character. Don't cut bangs yourself. Not that at all. I want you to do something wild, crazy, impetuous, foolish, pointless, fun. I want you to get back to fun. Because I guarantee that by the time your relationship ended, it was bad for a while. And fun has kind of been off the table. I talk all the time about the perfect 9-year-old day. That's a very easy way for us to tap into our fun. Think about what your ideal day was when you were 19. My whole life here in Montana is my 9-year-old day. I go outside. I ride horses every day. I shoot guns a whole bunch. I'm in nature. I shoot targets. I don't shoot nature. I'm on a river. I eat barbecue. I drink iced tea, and they've got the tiny little chunks of ice. I love it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I feel so energized and so focused and like, but yet so I'm focused, but I'm wide. Like I'm malleable and elastic, but I'm focused on keeping this feeling alive. This feeling of passion, curiosity, energism. Really? I am really tired today. I'm so sorry. Once I got a taste of it, I've become addicted to it. I'm like, I'm not going back to a city or a situation or a friendship or a dating relationship where I don't feel like this, where I'm not excited to get up and embrace whatever that thing is. I'm not going back. I have already been through the worst. I'm just not going back. It's not going to happen. So I want you to think about your perfect 9-year-old day. Was it ice skating, looking at bugs, reading about dinosaurs, baking with your grandmother? Try to incorporate that into your life. And again, at first, it's going to feel like you're just zombieing through it. Here I am at the dinosaur museum, crying in front of a triceratops. You cry in front of that triceratops, girl. That's all right, but you go back. You go back and then you cry a little bit less. Or you cry in front of a different dinosaur, perhaps a brontosaurus. They seem like they're sort of like an empathetic, right? Yeah, maybe I'm just basing that on the land before time, but still. And you incorporate that in. And pretty soon, that passion is going to start to drown out that narrative. I'm so stupid. How could I do this? What am I going to do without him? How can I get him back? But I hate him so much. You got to drown that out. Sometimes it's just as simple as keeping yourself busy, but busy with healthy things, not busy with like drinking, sex, and vaping. Not that. And when you start to default to that sad narrative, I want you to again go back to what my therapist told me. Pretend you're telling this to your best friend. Becca, you got to just, I don't know, like stick it out with that shitty job or whatever. You would never say that. You should just settle down, Katie, like no one's ever going to love you. You would never say that. You would never even think it. Whatever the fear-based argument they were going to give, but how could I start over? We have kids together. I've never loved anyone else, blah, blah, blah. I'd have to move. I'd have to get a new job. You'd be like, okay. 99% of those things are logistical. We can figure them out. We're going to dismantle them one by one, and we're going to put one foot in front of the other, and we're just going to do it. I don't think any of us think Kelly Clarkson is unlovable. She is a treasure. She's a treasure. But I'm sure that's how she feels right now. Kelly, if you are watching this, like I said, you can have some of my leftovers. You can have some of my leftovers. I don't care. They're hot. They're like D1 athletes. I would rather see Kelly Clarkson single and knowing the deal about who's in her life and for what the right reasons, rather than being trapped in something bad. You'd want that for her. You probably want it for me. I want it for you. You have to want it for yourself. And that's hard. Truly, our life's work is to love ourselves as much as other people love us. To see ourselves in the positive, non-judgmental, non-critical light that other people see us. And if we do have people in our life, it's like, no, they really do see us in that judgmental, critical way. Fuck them. I don't care if they are your mom. I don't care if they're your sister, your best friend. Get away from these people. Get away from people who validate the worst narrative in your mind and move towards people who validate the positive ones. Move towards the Shallontourage. We're waiting with open arms. I want to know your thoughts on Kelly and Brandon. Who should she date next? I was going to say Blake Shelton, but maybe that's just because they're on The Voice. And I'm like, everyone on The Voice has to date each other. Historically, it kind of seems to go that way. Who could she date? She needs like a Texas cattle rancher. Just a man who's like, ain't she the cutest? She is the cutest little thing I've ever seen. She'd be like, me? He'd be like, yeah, darling. That's what I want for Kelly. That's what I want for myself. For more, click like and subscribe. We're going to be doing some more story time, some more celeb videos. And like I said, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I'll let you guys weigh in on the next topic. I'll see you next time.